we look at the mission, and as a Marine, we're looking at the mission, and the voters have spoken, and they have said that they want a different leader.
All right, folks, buckle up, because today we're digging into a political time capsule that aged like sour milk. What you're about to hear is an old clip of Virginia's Lieutenant Governor, Winsome Sears, back when she was willing to say the quiet part out loud about Donald Trump. This was from the period when Trump was lashing out at Ron DeSantis, throwing his usual petty nicknames around, and trying to kneecap any Republican who dared to step into a spotlight. And Winsome? At the time, she didn't hold back. She called him out in a way you almost never hear from Republicans who orbit around MAGA. It honestly was one of the few moments where you saw a Republican openly acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, the emperor had no clothes. So let's go ahead and roll the tape.
Yeah, but so what happened? Why bail on him now?
No, I'm not bailing on him. I think he bailed on us because ultimately you've got to come to the point where you see that this is all about him. And it can't ever be that. It has to be about our country. And yes, I understand he says that country, but ultimately, how can you, for example, say when it came to Mitch McConnell's wife, racist argument. He says, he calls her Elaine, what is it, Coco Chow something? Come on, man, as you can't do that. And then he calls just a few days before the election, he calls Ron DeSantis, Ron the Sanctimonious. No, sir, I think it's you. I think it's you who's sanctimonious. And he just goes after people. I don't know. We can't keep going down that road. I didn't join the Trump party. I joined the Republican Party.
That's a fair statement. But let me...
Remember when that kind of honesty still slipped through every now and then? Sears absolutely ripped into Trump there. She was basically saying, hey, this guy is toxic. He's dragging the party down. And if he's going to spend all his energy tearing down other Republicans, why should we hitch our wagon to him again? And she was right. Every word of that critique still holds up today. Trump has spent the better part of a decade tearing apart his own party, punishing anyone who shows an ounce of not aligning with him, and turning what used to be the GOP into his personal fan club. Fast forward to now, and Winsome Sears is fully in line with the MAGA machine in hopes of saving her disastrous campaign. Like clockwork, she's dropped the criticism and embraced the grift. Instead of sticking with reality of Trump being a liability, she's singing his praises, defending him, and trying to cash in on receiving support from a group of people who literally do not believe that she should even be in a position of power. It's a familiar story at this point. You see it over and over again with Republicans who criticize Trump, maybe even take a swipe at his chaos. And for a moment you think, oh wow, maybe this person has a spine. But then the reality sets in, and like so many others who thought grifting for MAGA support would save them, Winsome Sears decided to trade in her accurate political instincts for a ticket on the MAGA gravy train.
Because it does not appear that there is a bottom to which Donald's support can't fall to. What are we talking about? Trump's net approval rating with independents. There was all this hubbub about Gallup that came out this past week. You see, back in January, it was minus 2 points. Now it's minus 35 points. But we look among independents, it is the worst on record at this point. My goodness gracious, worst net approval ratings ever 6 months in among independents. Last time around, Trump broke the all-time record at minus 23 points. He is even lower than that now. At minus 29 points, he has broken his own record for the worst on record. As I said at the beginning, there appears to be no fall, and Trump is certainly falling through that floor. Donald Trump at this point, his net approval rating on inflation among independents, it's actually worse than Biden's was a year ago. Biden was way underwater at minus 38 points. But look at Trump and the average of polls on inflation. Oh my goodness gracious, minus 45 points. I never thought I'd see the day, especially this early on in the Trump administration. The issue that in large part got him elected is at this point the issue more so than any other that is dragging him down. If this is what we have on midterm day come 2026, I can promise you this. The Republican majority in the House, you can wave adios amigos, goodbye to it, because Republicans, simply put, can't win with this number.
At the end of the day, this clip is a perfect snapshot of what happens when someone briefly strays from the MAGA narrative. Sears wasn't wrong back then. Her criticisms of Trump were on point, and if Republicans had actually grown a spine, they might not be stuck in the same cycle they're in today. But instead, she did what so many in her party have done. She traded in principle for loyalty points. And honestly, that's the story of the modern GOP in a nutshell. You can criticize Trump for 5 minutes, but eventually you're either out of the party or you're cashing in on the MAGA brand. Winsome Sears chose the latter. So the next time you see her out there defending Trump or parroting MAGA talking points, just remember this clip, because it shows exactly who she was willing to be before she decided that the grift was more valuable than the truth. Well, that's it for me. Remember to subscribe as we got more videos coming soon.